I love my mom. I love everything about her. I love the way she laughs and her face disappears. I love all those incredible things. She was also by far the strongest woman I've ever known. And I was like, my favorite place was just being with her, around her, on her lap, wherever. And she got involved in every single thing that I did, including my unique hobby of collecting life-threatening illness. And so to give my parents a morning off, there was a brand new facility at Bowling Green State University that was an ice arena. And so they'd send me off to give my parents time to recharge their batteries, and I would skate. But to watch her go through her cancer was beyond anything I'd ever seen. The bravery and the strength that it took for her to rise up. And with the strength and the conviction of her example and everything that she gave to me, for the next 4 years, I never lost the competition to honor her in everything that I do. And sons, know the blessing that your mother is and will always be.
Good morning to you all. Thank you, Mr. Joya, for this opportunity today to speak to you all about the person who has been my hero. My mother has been a very special person to me. Dr. Regina Stokes-Afodele has shown me a lot in my life. Let me start by telling you all about who she is. My mother grew up as the 7th of 10 children during the 80s in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. When she was in the 4th grade, she knew what she wanted to do with her life. She strove to be a doctor. Through her hardships from childhood through medical school, she was able to attain her dream of earning a medical degree. But her thirst of knowledge didn't stop there. She pursued more degrees after medical school. I still have memories of doing homework in her office while she was completing her doctoral work. Also, I can still vividly remember watching my mother accept her master's in management of health and healthcare, and her master's in professions education when I was in eighth grade, and her master's in science in public health when I was a freshman. So my mom, she has shown me how nothing or no one can stop you from following your passions or your dreams. Aside from being my role model, she also provides emotional support and serves as a confidant. I don't often share this story, but during my parents' divorce, I went through a dark time in my life. I became depressed and confused. I had to start going to therapy because I kept thinking that I was the problem. I felt I was the reason that my father did not want to be closer to my brothers or me. Because of this mindset, I started to have panic attacks. But throughout this whole process, my mother was there for us, and she served as my brothers and my rock. She's been my strength while dealing with her own divorce, taking her 3 children from Los Angeles, California to Nashville, Tennessee, a whole new territory, to start a new life and begin new work. Also, for those who don't know, I have a 3rd little brother besides Chuma. He's the elder twin between Chuma and him. His name is Ugo. He has cerebral palsy. When he was a baby, he had a stroke which caused his left side of his body to be weaker than the right side of his body. And also, it causes him to not be able to say a certain amount of words. She has been by my brother's side through many surgeries, many therapy sessions, and many doctor's appointments. I can still remember her holding my brother's hand and calming him down with tears in her own eyes while my other brother was crying and screaming while he was about to go through surgery and while he was getting Botox shots in 6 in one of his leg and 6 in the other. And I can also remember when my brother was going through this tough process of therapy, when he was in his wheelchair and he was just sad. You couldn't see his usual gleam in his eye that shows his happiness. I can always remember my mom always being there just cheering him up to make him laugh or smile again. She's also been there during my school activities. From my 7th grade year to my senior year of football, I always saw my mom there. I could always hear my mom yelling during my football game, sometimes for support and sometimes out of anger. However, my senior year football season wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for her. During the summer before this year, I was debating quitting football. When I told my mom about this decision, she sat me down and told me that I shouldn't quit because I was made from the same sort of strength that she was made out of, perseverance and grit. She also told me a quote that I will never forget for the rest of my life. Hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard. This inspiration helped me reunite my flame and play this year and have a great season. She has instilled in me a work ethic that cannot be stopped by anyone or anything. Also, Chuma, when I'm gone next year, you'll deal with the oh-so-loving Stokes crazy that runs in our family. I hope you learn to enjoy the small things that you'll do with Mom, because you are the next cub that our mom's gonna let go. And also, I'd like to say that to all the other all the other guys here, please learn to, even though you might not like it, sometimes when your mom wants you to do stuff with her, just do it, because sooner or later, you're gonna be gone, and you won't be there anymore. A mother bear is known to protect her cubs from danger. This saying best describes my mom. She's protected me and helped me through a lot in my life. She also has been there, and it will feel different not having you always there in my ear telling me what's the best option. I will miss our little grocery trips and our Uno games where I cheat. And I will miss our movie nights. I know we bicker and argue sometimes, but everyday life wouldn't be the same without hearing your voice every morning. And I know I say this a lot, and sometimes you tell me to stop. I say this too much, but Mom, thank you for all you've done for me. I love you, and I can't change it. I love you, Mama Bear.
Thank you, Kanaya.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank Mr. Joy for giving me this opportunity. I can remember when I was up there on those bleachers in the top right corner with you, Mom, looking forward to this day, and I'm happy to be here. All right. My mother, Beth Campbell, is essentially an FBI agent when it comes to the Mo's on breakfast. If I came downstairs this morning dressed in coat and tie, she would have known I was speaking immediately. So I had my blazer, my button down, and my tie laid out in my car the night before, and I changed this morning when I arrived at school. Now, just because she shows her vigilance and attentiveness here does not mean my mom can be one of the most oblivious people I know. Just a few weeks ago, while on college tours, we were taking Ubers everywhere. And one time, as we exited the car, I noticed my mom gave our driver a very generous tip. And while I'm sure this was much appreciated, she also rated him 0 stars. She said that she, quote, didn't know she had to click on the stars that had Rager Driver written directly above. Now, Mom, you know one of the major parts of our relationship has to do with my long list of allergies. And for those of you who don't know, I'm allergic to beef, eggs, peanuts, tree nuts, sesame seeds, and shellfish. And Mom, you would tack on lamb and bison, but I don't know who even eats those anymore, so I'm not worried about that. Now, I'm sure there are many people in this crowd who have allergies or know people who have allergies, but I don't think anyone worries as much as my mom. And now, I'm not blaming her. I mean, after all, that is a long list. That being said, you all can imagine how difficult going out to dinner can be at times. When ordering, half the time, I honestly don't even know what I'm getting. And the other half of the time, the waiter or waitress will just skip me because my mom has already given the waiter or waitress the rundown of what my order is to be. But that's honestly okay. Surprise orders are as cool as they sound. Now, because of my copious amount of allergies, I'm always strapped with an EpiPen. And every now and again, Mom, you'll ask me if my friends know how to use my EpiPen if I were in a situation where I was unable to do it myself. And I always tell you yes, even though an alarming number of my friends seem to prefer the idea of stabbing me in the neck instead of the thigh. Now, Mom, if I had to describe you with one idea, it would be the idea of the extra mile. Everyone in here, both mothers and sons, understands the concept or will understand the concept of an NBA night, when a student works tirelessly into the night and sometimes even into the early morning. Sons, everyone here, you've lived it, and mothers, you've all witnessed it, or you will witness it. But Mom, you are no stranger to the NBA night. Not only have you seen me work for hours, but you've done the same. And I can't count the number of times that you've gone to bed later than I have. Now, why would that be? It's because you read dozens and dozens of medical papers and possible treatments with orthodox, unorthodox, cheap and expensive, everything in hopes of finding a way to give me a healthier and happier life. You did it for the dairy desensitization study, which led to the treatment of my allergy to dairy and knocked one more allergy off that long list. And you did it for my eczema, which transformed every aspect of my life. And Mom, as you and I both know, eczema, or the most trying element of our relationship, definitely has to do with eczema. Very few people understand how much that actually affected my daily life, how much I hated showing my arms and legs in public, how I had hundreds of restless nights, and how I even told you that at one time I was living in my own personal hell. Now, I can't imagine how difficult that was to hear as a mother, so I do apologize for that. But everyone, as bad as that sounds, I want to emphasize that everything I said was far in the past. And that's for one reason, and one reason only. Mom, you fixed everything. Thanks to all of her research, she seemingly out of nowhere discovered a trial in Birmingham that claimed to treat severe eczema that I had. And this wasn't something that was advertised or broadcasted out. She dug for this. I was one of the first people admitted into this trial, and I don't know where I'd be without it. Long story short, we made the drive to Birmingham nearly every week of my junior year until I completed the trial. Keep in mind, this is on her one day off during the work week. She was taking with me to go down to Birmingham. 3 hours there and 3 hours back every day. And within just days of my initial dosage, my skin was the same as anyone else's. And Mom, this could not have happened without you. Mom, this has been a thank you speech 18 years in the making for raising me into the man I am today. We get along, we laugh, we fight, we cry, hug it out, and then we blame Dad. Just as any healthy mother-son relationship should do. That being said, I want to make 2 promises to you before I go to college, and I want you to make 2 promises to me. I'll start. First, I know that you're terrified of my going away to college, so I promise that I'll call you at least a couple times a week. Second, I promise to follow you back on Instagram. You make me cringe in every way possible, which is why I unfollowed you in the first place. But I love you for it, and I cannot wait to see your upcoming posts. Now for your promises. First, you have to take a break from the Bravo channel. Every day, for as long as I can remember, I come downstairs only to hear the Real Housewives of wherever, or Keeping Up with the Kardashians, blasting at an unhealthy volume with your face this close to the TV. If you try literally anything else, I will be satisfied. Now, second, Mom, and more importantly, I need you to stop doubting yourself. I've never met someone so dedicated to being her best, only to belittle her successes at the same time. On the tennis court, you once told me you'd give yourself an F every time, and that's just not fair to all the work you put in. So if there are any challengers out there, we will take you on, and just let one of us know. Now, there is one more thing that you said that actually did infuriate me. You called yourself a terrible mom one time. And this is probably because I was doing something dumb more likely because one of my sisters were doing something dumb. But either way, you calling yourself a terrible mom was the stupidest and most unreasonable thing I've ever heard in my entire life. And keep in mind, I once heard Kylie Jenner call a baby pig a chicken. Now, Mom, that's the end of my scripted speech, but I want to now talk directly to you. You're just incredible, and that's the easiest way to say it. You mean everything to me. You mean everything to our family. And I know that I joke around and say that, I can't wait to leave and go to college and just to be out of the house. And while that's true in moderation, I really cherish the moments we have together with just us. Just to name off a few, like 1 a.m. talks on the kitchen floor in the dog beds, talking about who knows what for whatever reason. I love doing it. Or even at the dinner table, when someone cracks a joke and tears, you start convulsing, tears are streaming down your face. It's just one of the many aspects that what makes being your son just awesome. I am so happy and proud to call you my mom. Thank you for everything that you've done for me. I love you so much.
Like many before me, I did not tell my mom that I was speaking today. I actually told her that I couldn't because there are already too many speakers. Well, Mom, now I know the truth. My mom is the best mom a boy could hope for. She is the most loving and caring person I've ever met. I am continually surprised of how much grace and forgiveness she has for everyone around her. As a mom, she has always been there for me. May that be a hug, a talk, or a nice back massage after a long day. She is no doubt the best I could have ever dreamed for. So, who is Heather Buffkin? Interior designer, world traveler extraordinaire, professional mother? I dare say all three and more. But when I say world traveler extraordinaire, I mean world traveler extraordinaire. This woman has been to so many places in such a short time, I can barely remember a time when she has been home for more than 2 weeks. I mean, we get back from the Dominican Republic on spring break on Saturday night, and the woman leaves for Israel Monday morning for 2 weeks. It's crazy. She has what are called these girls' trips, which have manifested themselves from every year to about every month. And not just to your classic Rosemary or Seaside, but New York and Mexico. But I love her, so what you gonna do? When I do complain, she responds in 3 specific ways. The first and most original is her go-to. Her quintessential comeback. I'm 48, I can do what I want. A fact that trumps all arguments. The second most classic is a specific one to her. I'll say something like, "You're traveling too much," or "Just type your text, don't speak it into your phone." Which she'll respond with, "You travel too much," or "I'm gonna type your phone." And the third, which is a quite new one that she has to do with the Enneagram test, which profiles each person into a set of 9 types of people. When my mother discovered her own type, she promptly made every person in my immediate and extended family take the 14-page online test that takes 20 minutes. For the record, I'm a 1, which to me is the best type, but that's up for debate. My mother is a 7, and she will tell you she is a 7, whether you ask her or not. So when I complain, she responds, "That's just what 7s do." And I'm a 7, so I'm doing it. Unlike many individuals, my mother despised dogs. She didn't like how they smelled, ate, jumped, or really existed. It took us 14 years to convince her to get a dog. And when we did, we didn't just get one, we got two at the same time. For all you dog owners out there, y'all know that's a big mistake, especially that they were both puppies. But when our Cavapoo, yes, a Cavapoo, a mix of a King Charles Cavalier and a poodle named Sawyer, began to display to my mom the wonders of having a dog, her opinion shifted to where now he sleeps in the bed with her, gets fed from the table, and served bottled water. It has gotten so bad that on multiple occasions, my mom has called me Sawyer. My mother is either related to or friends with everyone, and I mean everyone. And if she doesn't know you, she will find you, she will talk to you, and she will send you a Christmas card. Heather also has a very special skill of telecommunication. This technique would be impressive if everyone had it, not just her. So when we were cleaning the house or she gets upset at you for not doing your job, you ask her, "When did you tell me to clean the kitchen and wipe off the countertops?" To which she responds, "I thought you should do it, so I expected you to do it." Heather Buffkin is what you call an enthusiastic and passionate woman. When I made my change from football to golf, a decision that was quite tough for my mom, it took her a while to get on board. But when she did, she took over the ship. NBA golf went from a one-shirt, one-hat sport to a two-shirt, two-hat, two pair of shorts, one pair of pants, and one rain jacket sport. And for an extra bonus, senior banners in the gym, because if football and basketball could have them, golf most definitely can. My mom has discovered many things about herself in addition to the Enneagram test. One being that of her love language, which is defined as how one best receives love. For my mom, that would be words of affirmation. Instead of naturally letting it happen, she will prompt you whenever she feels it necessary. For example, she will say to you quite randomly, "Aren't I just the best mother in the world?" Or, "Where would you be without me?" Unfortunately, that last one almost came true. As some of you know, my mom is a proud survivor of breast cancer. She's the inspiration behind all my work and dedication as a project manager for Race for the Cure over the past 2 years. My mom had cancer in her lymph nodes near the top left of her chest, more or less near her armpit. This specific area prompted what she called her battle with armpit cancer, which added a light tone to a pretty rough period in all of our lives. Thank the Lord the doctors were able to catch it early, but that didn't mean she had an easy battle. Months of radiation treatment took a toll on her and our entire family. My mom had been gone before on a trip or a night out, but not like this. She was so exhausted after her treatments that she could barely move in bed. I was given a first-hand look of what my life would look like without my mom, and it wasn't pretty. Everything was in disarray. My life during that time seemed like a giant mess, a chaotic jumble of disorganization and mayhem. It was truly the scariest thing I have ever been a part of. To come that close to losing such an irreplaceable necessity in my life, a person that I couldn't live without, was horrifying. Mom, I may have never told you this, but during that incredible, difficult time, I wished every day that I could have taken that burden from you, because to watch someone so loving and so joyful being put through absolute hell was unbearable. Guys out there, cherish your mothers. Cherish your mothers, because you never know when she could be taken away from you. Every single day, every moment you have, tell them that you love them, because that means so much to them, so much. Mom, I love you so much, and I have no idea what I will do without you next year. Thank you.
Well, surprise, Mom. I know I told you last night and for the past 5 years that I wasn't going to, and nor did I plan on speaking about you, but I'm extremely blessed and extremely grateful that I am. Today, I have the honor of telling everybody how wonderful my mom is. Many of my friends know her as Robin, and some as Mrs. Bryan. She can be, like me at times, short-sighted, but always with good intentions. Intense but caring, but the adjectives that describe her best are both patient and loving. I like to say that I'm a near carbon copy of my mom. With my looks, my brain, which is debatable, and a quiet but proud persona. In reality, I hope to mature into an adult with the traits and demeanor that my mom has. When Robin Bryan enters a room, there's an atmosphere that comes out that is indescribable. Some people freak out. My dad does, my sisters do, and I know that I do. Who knows what she's going to say? You really can't miss her with her lemon yellow hair. She's intimidating, but easily approachable at the same time. She has a perpetual look on her face that nobody can tell what mood she's in. She can be angry or happy, but what we do know is that she will always shoot it straight with you and tell you when you're wrong and when you're right constructively. Without my mom, I wouldn't be an Eagle Scout. At the beginning of the Boy Scout journey, she questioned why I was even working on this goal and that I didn't even like to camp out. Taking me to every dreaded Monday night meeting before I could drive, I could tell that my being a Boy Scout was an imposition on her, and she wasn't all for it. 5 years later, I can say that she really is the only reason that I'm an Eagle Scout. I fell into a pretty serious senior slide in filling out the Eagle application, and I asked myself if the hour or two that I needed to give was even worth it. She was right behind me every step of the way, making sure that the application was done in perfection. I absolutely hated it. But Mom, you were right, it was worth it. I hope to mature into an adult with as sturdy of a moral compass as my mom. Without her, I wouldn't be at MBA and I wouldn't be half the man that I am today. Now, my mom was raised in eastern Arkansas, later moving to Memphis where she met my dad and then moved to Nashville. She is a physical embodiment of hard work. In her college years, she worked 3 jobs at once to pay for her college tuition while maintaining her academic scholarship and leadership on the cheer team. I'm in awe of her hard work ethic because that is something I don't think that I could ever do. Her commitment to our family is unmatched. She's never missed one of my sister's tennis matches, one of my lacrosse games, or failed to take dinner to a family in need. She brings out the best in people. She pushes them, believes in them, and truly wants the best for them. Characteristics that I admire and hope to emulate. She is the reason I want to wake up each morning and want to attack the day with the same energy that she does. But in the spring of 2015, our lives changed. My mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. Even after countless life-altering surgeries, her loving, caring, and just a little crazy demeanor never changed. Mom, you showed a drive to live, to love life, and to still be your best you. Your energy never changed, your love for our family never changed, and your loving outlook on life never faltered. I'll be very honest. I have no idea what all you have gone through. I don't think I'll ever be able to fully wrap my mind around everything that you have been through, but I hope that you can forgive me for what I lack in understanding and that I make up in my love for you. So when I am insensitive or harsh, please just give me another one of your hugs. You can soothe any tense or erratic moment, and I promise that I'll always hug you back. Now let me tell you about our dog, the favorite child. Where Yeti goes, my mom goes. Or it might be the other way around. My dad has been asking for a dog since they've been married. And when my mom reluctantly said yes, our lives were changed forever. Prince Yeti is a ridiculous name. But so are we when it comes to the dog. Yeti has become my mom's emotional support dog because she can't bear to part with him. We sneak him into hotels and beach houses just so we can be part of the family vacation. There's a saying that goes, be the person your dog thinks you are. My mom truly is the person that Yeti thinks she is. And finally, you are truly indescribable. I'm in more debt to you for your constant nagging, love, support, and compassion than anybody would think possible. You've been with me at my highs and lows. You're the first person to greet me and give me a hug after a lacrosse game, win or lose. You stayed up with me countless nights studying for every test imaginable, taught me the importance of hard work, given me second chances when I don't deserve them, and repeatedly told me that you love me even when I don't show you the love that you deserve. You've molded me into the man that I am today. You taught me to always take the high road, never give up, and most importantly, to be loyal and to love my friends and my family. I love you, Mom.
Good morning. As a tradition we like to do on the Hill, I did not tell my mom that I would be speaking. This is off script. I'm pretty emotional, and when I see my mom cry, I start to cry, so I apologize in advance. I first just want to say happy belated birthday, Mom. It's crazy to think you turned 35 this year. And even crazier to think you'll be the same age next year. As most boys are, I'm without any money and do not know what to get my mom on her birthday. So I hope you enjoy your gift and hope you realize it's much more valuable than any gift my sister got for you. Mom, you're the greatest soul I know. Growing up with a father in the Army, you moved all across the country from year to year. You were forced to leave old friends behind and encouraged to make new ones at each new school you attended. You've affected every person you've ever met in a positive way. And your smile lights up a room, any room you come into. You are my hero. I look to you for guidance and advice about everything. You helped me get through my first breakup, first state championship loss, and attended every game I ever played. Your sacrifices do not go unnoticed, and I thank God every day that I have such a strong and selfless role model to look up to. I often get a lot of questions about where I get my height from, since my dad only comes up to my shoulders. The Hannah boys were never gifted with any height, and I am very thankful and lucky you fell in love with a midget. Because without you, I would be a third-string defensive back. No offense, Coach Chauvin, wherever you are. No offense. It's safe to say we are almost the exact same person. I get a lot of great qualities from you, including looks. It's also safe to say I get a lot of not so great qualities from you. As you can see, I'm very emotional talking about the people I love most in my life. For my mom cries almost every night about my going off to college. And also, she can be really stubborn. We fight about what we're going to watch on TV at night, or how you embarrass me from the stands on Friday nights. But these issues only reflect our care, closeness, and emotional connection to one another. At the end of the day, I'm usually the one that ends up apologizing, but I'm okay with this approach. I can only remember one good time you were in the wrong. When I was little, I had a very peculiar nickname my mother called me by, and only my mother. That great nickname was Boo Boo Bear. I know what you're probably thinking. Who on earth would come up with that horrendous nickname for her son? You guessed it, my mother. It was game day, and my friends and I were in the huddle. And as we broke the huddle to start the next drive, all I hear from the stands is, "Go get him, Boo Boo Bear." As you can imagine, my friends stopped worrying about the game and focused on the crazy lady in the stands calling her boy Boo Boo Bear. I ended up playing one of the worst football games I was ever a part of. To this day, I've never been more embarrassed and made her promise to me that she would never say this nickname again. She has kept her promise and thankfully never screamed those words during one of my high school games. Mom, you raised me right. You taught me how to be a gentleman, how to put others in front of myself, and how to never take myself too seriously. You are the light of my life, and I set out each day to try to make you and Dad proud. I know I may annoy you sometimes when I forget to clean my room or to take out the trash, but I'll be out of your hair in a couple of months, I promise. And I also promise that I will change underwear every day and call you every weekend. I am so proud to be your son. I'll always be your boo-boo bear. And I will never forget the values, love, care, and compassion you have given me, and I will always try to make you proud. I love you, Mom.
Thank you, Peyton, and thank you, Jackson.
Hello, I'm Reagan Sparks. Most of you who are rowers wouldn't know me, and that's fairly understandable because I've been pretty quiet during my time on the Hill. But I figure now, in front of the entire school and their mothers, is as good a time as any to speak up. I want to talk to you all about appreciation, especially of mothers for all they do to make our lives better, or even possible for that matter. As you all know, MBA provides a very challenging environment. The homework never ends, and oftentimes you'll find yourself wondering how you can possibly meet every demand before you. Having been at MBA for 6 years now, I can appreciate that kind of pressure as well as any of you. There have been a lot of long, sleepless nights, projects that take hours and hours to complete, and above all else, stress. Stress is the one common feature of the MBA experience. We all have a ton of it, and all have to deal with it at one point or another. That much is a given. What often goes unappreciated, however, are the small things that our mothers do to help us, be it reading through a paper every now and then, or even just making us a cup of coffee in the morning. They're always there, always helping, without question. That isn't all that our mothers do that we should appreciate, though. I'm going to go ahead and say it. We all do stupid stuff. We're high schoolers. That's practically our specialty. And occasionally, our parents, our mothers, catch us red-handed. It might be easy to get mad or pick a petty fight. I can't really help but speak from experience on that one. But I want to challenge you all to appreciate the tough stuff and the discipline, as well as the help and the kindness. For those of you who don't know, my parents got divorced about 7 years ago now, and I've been living with just my mom ever since. My dad visits as much as he can, and I love him for it, but he just cannot get the full MBA experience without being here. He sees the report cards, and he can coach from afar, but he isn't truly in the game. Because my mom never remarried, she's had to shoulder the full burden of MBA parenthood alone. When I'm in a bad mood or do something idiotic, she can't call for reinforcements, wait for my dad to get home, or ever take a break. I'm stuck with her, and more often than not, she's stuck with me. And that's tough. She has to, at all times, play both good and bad cop with no reprieve. That's not all, though. When it was time for college applications, it was she that had to be there to bounce ideas off. It was she that had to confront the impossible task of somehow telling her son, the person that she cares the most for in the world and has devoted her life to, how to make one of the most important and consequential decisions of his early life. In spite of those odds, it looks like we're both still here and we're both still going, if a little exhausted from all the editing and revision. To quote the car seat headdress song, Bodies, we're alive, most of us. Although stress may be our greatest commonality, we all share another, much deeper universality that subsumes not only the MBA experience, but also that of every human, regardless of their attendance of a certain Southern private school. Motherhood. The Greeks call their mothers mater, the Romans mater, and the Russians mать. That's for you, Alex Masad. Mothers have always been here, and thankfully, it doesn't seem like they're leaving anytime soon. And to stave off what would be a calamitous departure, we ought to be a little bit more thankful to them. Boys, I want to challenge you to be thankful for the good and the bad, easy stuff and the long, complicated, drawn-out nightmares you will doubtlessly inflict on yourself during your time here. If nothing else, I want to challenge you to go up to your mothers and say thank you. It doesn't have to be every day, or even after every time they do something for you, but go up to them sometime and express your gratitude. They have done and will continue to do more than you will ever know. As for now, it's my turn. Thanks, Mom. You've helped me in every part of my life, and without you, I would not have accomplished anything that I have. You're the reason that a quiet guy like me can get up here on this stage and give a speech to this many people. I love you. Thanks for listening.
Good morning. My name is Jack Rankin. First, I'd like to say thank you to Mr. Joya for giving me this opportunity to talk about my mom. Since I was born, my family has spent a part of each summer at Bald Head Island, a small isle off the coast of Wilmington, North Carolina. About 8 years ago, my mother took me fishing at the island's point, where the inland marsh water flows into the Great Cape Fear Bay and finally into the Atlantic Ocean. The day could not have been more perfect. The sun shone down on us high in the midday sky as a cool breeze swept across our faces. Despite the beautiful day, for the first hour of our fishing trip, we had caught nothing. We did not even feel a tug on our lines. Fishing can be quite boring in this regard, standing and waiting with no sign of a reward to come. Also, I know now that my mom does not particularly enjoy going fishing, not because fishing can be boring though. You see, my mom has always had an extremely sensitive nose and fish have a very potent smell, and the two did not agree. Yet she took me fishing anyway, simply because I had nobody else to accompany me. When I was 8 years old, my father abandoned our family and left us with very few financial resources. Within a few months, we had to leave the house I had grown up in since I was 2. Within a year, my sisters and I had to leave our schools and friends behind. My mom was left alone to raise 3 children, none older than I at 8 years old, mind you. And yet, I stand here before you now, about to graduate MBA, one of the finest high schools in the country, while my sisters, both younger than me, are on course to graduate from Harpeth Hall, all thanks to her. As my mom and I stood on that beach at Bald Head Island, with our fishing rods in hand and our toes digging into the sand beneath our feet, the sun that had shone so brightly all day began to disappear behind dark and foreboding clouds. Rain began to fall, turning the white sand beneath us darker with every drop. I looked to my mom, expecting her to say it was time for us to head back, but instead she smiled at me and asked, "Would you like to stay longer?" I did, and she stayed next to me, never losing her smile. Rain may bring some fish to the surface, she told me. My mom has always had a knack for bringing hope and joy to situations where they seem to have little chance for success. We stood there together in the rain for what must have been another half hour, yet our lines remained slack. Finally, that rain began to give way, and the sun peeked out from behind the clouds above us. What I am about to tell you may seem fictitious, but I can guarantee you it happened. After the rain stopped, a rainbow appeared, stretching from one end of the bay to the other before us. All of a sudden, my rod, which had been still for nearly an hour and a half, began to bend. As I hooked and reeled the fish in, another sudden tug almost took the rod from my hands. I regained my grip and began to reel slowly to ensure I did not lose my catch. My line shortened, and as I pulled my catch out of the water, my mom and I were shocked to find not one, but 2 fish writhing on my hook. It was quite an extraordinary moment, and one that I will never forget, and one of so many moments I've come to cherish in my life that would not have been possible without my mom. I share with you this story because I believe it reveals a lot about my mom. When my father left us, you see, she chose not to let his decision define us. When the sun that had shone so brightly upon her for so long disappeared behind those dark clouds, she determined not only to stand beside us, as she did beside me on that beach, but also to lead us out of that darkness. She took up the responsibilities my father left behind, taking me to my football, basketball, and lacrosse games, teaching me how to be a man that is strong in the face of adversity and yet kind to all those around him, and even taking me fishing. She resolved that the rain that had begun to fall upon our family would be temporary. She chose to push forward with no assurances that there would be a rainbow at the end of this storm. And somehow, I still don't know, she did all of these acts of love and devotion with a smile on her face. Not to mention, my mom spends each day from 8 in the morning to 5 in the evening taking care of mentally and physically disabled toddlers and infants at the Susan Gray School at Vanderbilt. Her love is so expansive that she cares for each of these children as if he or she were her own child. She frequently refers to them as her babies. It is very rare for a person to possess both immense strength of will and profound kindness. I am so grateful to have a mom who's one of these people. Mom, I owe everything in my life to you. I love you with all my heart, now and forever. Thank you.